The information provided in this video regarding email marketing, digital strategy, and business growth is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This content does not constitute professional marketing, legal, or financial advice. Marketing results are influenced by numerous variables, including industry trends, audience behavior, and execution quality. Historically observed trends and case studies discussed herein do not ensure specific future performance for your unique business. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own due diligence, consult with qualified professionals, and test strategies within their specific market context before committing significant resources. The creator of this content assumes no liability for any business decisions made based on the information presented. You do not own your audience. If you are a small business owner relying on social media followers as your primary asset, you are effectively building a mansion on rented land. At any moment, an algorithm update, a platform policy change, or a sudden account suspension can wipe out years of hard-earned community building. We have seen historical trends where organic reach on major social platforms has plummeted to less than 2%, meaning that for every 1,000 people who intentionally follow you, only 20 might actually see your message. This is the platform risk that keeps founders awake at night. However, there is one digital channel that has survived the rise and fall of every major social network over the last 3 decades. A channel that offers a direct line of communication to your customers without an intermediary deciding if your content is worthy of their attention. That channel is email. The reality is that while social media is a discovery engine, email is a conversion engine. According to documented case studies from organizations like the Data and Marketing Association, email marketing has historically shown potential outcomes where every dollar spent can result in a significant return on investment, often cited in the range of $36 to $42. This is not about sending random newsletters or blasting your list with unprompted sales pitches. This is about a structured, data-driven system designed to turn strangers into subscribers and subscribers into lifelong advocates. In this 10-part deep dive masterclass, we are dismantling the outdated myths of email marketing and building a sophisticated, automated infrastructure that works while you sleep. By the end of this series, you will understand how to bypass the noise of the crowded digital landscape and land directly in the most private space your customer occupies online: their inbox. Small business owners often feel overwhelmed by the technicalities of automation and segmentation, or they feel they do not have enough news to share. This mindset is what separates struggling businesses from those that achieve sustainable growth. Throughout this masterclass, we are solving the core problem of inconsistent revenue and unpredictable customer acquisition. We are moving away from the hope and pray method of posting content and hoping the algorithm favors you today. Instead, we are installing a predictable framework that allows you to control your distribution, own your data, and foster deep psychological intimacy with your audience. To understand the weight of what we are building, we must first look at the psychological landscape of 2026. The average consumer is bombarded with thousands of advertisements every single day. Their attention is fragmented across dozens of apps. Yet, the inbox remains a task-oriented environment. When someone opens their email, they are in a doing mindset, not a scrolling mindset. They are looking for information, solving problems, and making purchasing decisions. If you can master the art of appearing in that space with value rather than noise, the potential outcomes for your brand equity are transformative. We are going to start by analyzing the mechanics of deliverability. It does not matter how beautiful your email is if it ends up in the spam folder or the dreaded promotions tab. We will dive into the technical details of sender reputation, SPF, DKIM, and MARC records, terms that might sound intimidating now, but are the bedrock of ensuring your voice is actually heard. We will then transition into the architecture of the lead magnet. Most small businesses fail here because they offer a newsletter that nobody wants to join. We will look at case studies of high-converting ethical bribes that provide immediate value and solve a specific pain point for your target demographic. From there, we will explore the science of the welcome sequence. This is the most critical window in the customer journey. Historical trends indicate that welcome emails have the highest open rates of any communication you will ever send. If you waste that moment, you are leaving significant potential revenue on the table. We will map out a multi-day automation strategy that introduces your brand story, handles common objections before they are even raised, and establishes your authority in your niche. We will also tackle the complex world of segmentation and personalization. The one-size-fits-all approach to email is a relic of the past. Today's consumers expect relevance. We will show you how to use behavioral triggers, actions your subscribers take on your website or within your emails, to automatically sort them into buckets. Imagine sending a specific discount to a customer who looked at a product 3 times but didn't buy, while sending a high-level educational piece to a new subscriber who is still in the research phase. This level of sophistication used to be reserved for Fortune 500 companies with massive marketing departments. Today, with the tools we will discuss, a solo entrepreneur can execute this with precision. As we progress through these 10 parts, we will also cover the nuances of copywriting for the inbox. Writing for email is different than writing for a blog or a social post. It is a one-to-one conversation. We will break down the subject line, hook, body, call to action formula that has been shown in various experiments to maximize click-through rates. We will discuss the balance between value emails and sales emails, ensuring your list remains healthy and engaged for the long term, rather than burning them out with constant promotions. Furthermore, we will look at the analytics that actually matter. Most people look at open rates and stop there. We are going to go deeper into click-to-open ratios, conversion tracking, and list hygiene. We will discuss why a smaller, highly engaged list of 1,000 subscribers is infinitely more valuable than a bloated list of 10,000 people who never open your messages. We will teach you how to prune your list, removing inactive users to boost your overall sender reputation, and ensure you are only paying for the subscribers who are actually contributing to your business goals. This masterclass is designed to be the definitive guide for any small business owner who is tired of the digital treadmill. Whether you are a local service provider, an e-commerce brand, or a digital creator, the principles of direct-to-consumer communication remain the same. We are building an asset that you own. We are building a system that provides stability in an unstable economy. We are building the perfect email marketing plan. In this first section, we have laid the foundation of why this is no longer optional. The era of easy organic social reach is over. The era of high-cost customer acquisition through paid ads is becoming unsustainable for many small margins. Email marketing represents the middle path, a way to nurture the leads you already have and maximize the lifetime value of every customer who enters your ecosystem. We are about to begin a journey that will change the way you look at your business communications forever. We are not just sending emails. We are building a bridge between your solution and the people who need it most. Let us begin by looking at the very first step: defining your ideal subscriber and the technical setup required to reach them. To define your ideal subscriber, you must stop thinking about numbers and start thinking about specific human problems. Imagine a small business owner named Sarah who runs a high-end, organic gardening supply company in Seattle. For years, Sarah collected emails by simply having a box on her website that said "Join our newsletter." By 2026, her list had grown to 3,000 names, but her open rates were hovering around a dismal 8%. Sarah was shouting into a void because she had not defined who she was actually talking to. She was sending generic tips about soil to professional landscapers, hobbyist apartment dwellers, and suburban homeowners all at once. To fix this, we have to look at the psychographic profile of the individual. In the current landscape, people do not sign up for newsletters because they want more mail. They sign up because they believe you have the specific key to a lock they are currently trying to turn. Historically, businesses looked at basic demographics like age, location, and gender. In 2026, those metrics are secondary to intent and behavior. You need to create an empathy map for your ideal subscriber. What are they worried about at 2 in the morning? If you are a local fitness studio owner in Austin, your ideal subscriber might be Marcus, a 45-year-old tech executive who is terrified that his sedentary lifestyle is leading to a health crisis he cannot reverse. Marcus does not care about a 10% discount on a gym membership. He cares about a structured plan that fits into a 60-hour work week without causing injury. When you define your subscriber with that level of granularity, your copy stops being marketing and starts being a lifeline. Historical trends in high-performing campaigns show that the more specific the pain point addressed, the higher the conversion rate. Once you know who you are talking to, we must address the technical infrastructure that ensures they actually hear you. If you ignore the technical foundation, you are essentially trying to broadcast a radio show without a transmitter. In 2026, the major inbox providers like Google and Yahoo have implemented the most stringent authentication requirements in history. If your technical setup is not perfect, your emails will be discarded before they even reach the spam folder. This begins with your domain reputation. You should never send mass marketing emails from a personal account or a fresh domain that has not been properly warmed up. The first pillar of your technical setup is the Sender Policy Framework, or SPF. Think of SPF as a verified guest list for a high-security building. It is a DNS record that tells the world which mail servers are authorized to send email on behalf of your domain. If a server that is not on that list tries to send an email as you, the receiving server will immediately flag it as a spoofing attempt. Next is the Domain Keys Identified Mail, or DKIM. This is your digital signature. It uses a pair of cryptographic keys, one private and one public, to verify that the email was actually sent by you and, crucially, that it was not tampered with while in transit. Imagine sending a physical letter in 2026 with a wax seal that is impossible to forge. That is DKIM. The third and most critical pillar is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance, commonly known as DMARC. DMARC is the instruction manual you give to inbox providers on what to do if an email fails SPF or DKIM checks. Historically, many small businesses left their DMARC policy at none, which essentially meant they were just watching but not acting. In the current year, to maintain high deliverability, you must move toward a quarantine or reject policy. This tells the internet that if someone tries to impersonate your business, the email should be blocked entirely. Case studies of small businesses that implemented full DMARC authentication have shown potential outcomes of a 20 to 30% increase in deliverability within the first quarter of implementation. Beyond authentication, you must choose the right email service provider, or ESP. In 2026, not all ESPs are created equal. You need to look for a provider that prioritizes its own IP reputation. If you choose a low-cost, high-volume provider that allows anyone to send spam, your emails will be sent from the same IP addresses as those spammers, and your deliverability will suffer through association. You should look for an ESP that offers dedicated IP addresses once you reach a certain volume, or one that has a very strict vetting process for its shared IP pools. Step 1 in your technical setup is to verify your domain within your ESP. This involves copying those SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records and pasting them into your domain registrar's DNS settings. It is a one-time task that dictates the success of every email you will ever send. After the technical foundation is laid, we have to talk about the physical gateway to your list, the opt-in mechanism. In 2026, the standard pop-up that appears the second someone lands on your site is widely considered digital pollution. It creates a negative user experience and can actually harm your search engine rankings. Instead, we look at the potential outcomes of high-intent opt-ins. This includes things like inline forms that appear after a user has engaged with a piece of content, or exit intent overlays that only trigger when a user is about to leave. Consider a case study of a boutique skincare brand in New York. They replaced their generic Join Our List pop-up with a personalized skin type quiz. Instead of asking for an email in exchange for a random discount, they offered a customized 3-step routine based on the user's specific concerns. The results were transformative. Their opt-in rate jumped from 1% to 7%. Why? Because they provided immediate value before asking for anything in return. This is the law of reciprocity in action. By the time the user was asked for their email address, they already felt that the brand understood their specific needs. You must also ensure your opt-in process is compliant with modern privacy laws such as the CCPA in California and the GDPR if you have any international reach. In 2026, transparency is a competitive advantage. Your sign-up form should clearly state what the subscriber will receive and how often. This reduces friction and sets the stage for a healthy relationship. If you trick someone into joining your list, they will either unsubscribe or worse, mark you as spam, which damages your hard-earned domain reputation. Imagine if your email list was not just a list of names, but a high-performance engine where every part was calibrated to perfection. You have identified the exact person you are talking to, you have built a digital fortress of authentication to ensure your messages arrive, and you have created a welcoming doorway that people actually want to walk through. This is where most small businesses stop, and that is why they fail. They build the engine, but they never put it in gear. They collect the email and then wait 3 weeks to send a generic newsletter that the subscriber has already forgotten they signed up for. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to dive into the first 72 hours of the subscriber journey. We will break down the exact sequence of emails that must be sent the moment someone joins your list to ensure they never want to leave. We are going to look at the psychological triggers that build trust at lightning speed and why your first email is the most important piece of real estate in your entire marketing funnel. If you have ever wondered why some brands feel like a close friend while others feel like a nuisance, the answer lies in what happens in the minutes after that initial sign-up. We are moving from the technical to the tactical, and the stakes could not be higher. The moment a new subscriber hits that confirm button, you have entered what psychological researchers and high-level digital marketers call the honeymoon phase. Historically, the first 72 hours of a subscriber joining your list represent the highest window of engagement you will ever have with that individual. In 2026, where the average human attention span has been further fragmented by short-form video and constant notifications, this window has become even more volatile. If you fail to capitalize on this immediate interest, you are not just missing a sale, you are allowing your brand to become background noise. We are going to architect a 4-part welcome sequence that functions as your digital handshake, your credibility builder, and your primary conversion tool. Imagine a local bakery owner in Nashville named Jackson. Jackson spent months perfecting an organic, gluten-free sourdough starter. He created a beautiful lead magnet called the 7 Secrets to the Perfect Home-Baked Loaf. A customer, let us call her Elena, downloads this guide on a Tuesday evening. In a poorly optimized system, Elena receives the guide, and then hears nothing from Jackson for 2 weeks until he sends a mass email about a holiday sale. By then, Elena has forgotten who Jackson is, she has likely found another recipe on a social media feed, and she deletes the email. This is a lost opportunity. In our perfect email marketing plan, the moment Elena downloads that guide, an automated sequence triggers that keeps Jackson top of mind during the exact hours she is most interested in baking. Email number 1 must be delivered instantly. In 2026, a delay of even 10 minutes can result in a 30% drop in open rates because the user has already moved on to the next task. This first email is the delivery and identity phase. Its primary job is to provide exactly what was requested and to introduce the human behind the brand. However, the biggest mistake small businesses make here is just providing a link and saying thanks. Instead, you must use this email to set expectations. You should tell the subscriber exactly how often they will hear from you and what kind of value you will be providing. For Jackson, this means not just giving the recipe, but explaining why he spent 3 years sourcing specific grains from local farmers. This builds an immediate emotional connection. You are moving from being a commodity to being a specialist. Step by step, your first email needs a subject line that is clear and functional. Avoid cleverness in the first email. Focus on clarity. Use a subject line like, "Your sourdough guide is here plus a quick tip." Inside the body, you deliver the value immediately. Then you use a technique called the micro-commitment. Ask them a simple, non-threatening question. For example, Jackson might ask, "What is the biggest challenge you have faced with your bread rising?" When a subscriber replies to your email, it sends a powerful signal to inbox providers like Gmail that your content is wanted. This drastically improves your deliverability for all future emails. This is a case study in building sender reputation through genuine engagement. 24 hours later, you send email number 2, the value and logic phase. While the first email was about delivery, the second is about proving your expertise without asking for a dime. Imagine if you are a consultant in Denver named Sarah, who helps small businesses with their tax organization. In her second email, she does not pitch her services. Instead, she shares a story about a historical trend where small businesses overpay on their quarterly filings by an average of 15% due to one specific, overlooked deduction. She provides a step-by-step breakdown of how to check for this deduction. By providing this unasked-for value, Sarah is moving the subscriber through the psychological stages of the buyer's journey. She is establishing herself as a trusted advisor. The technical execution of this second email is vital. In 2026, your email service provider allows you to use dynamic content blocks. This means if the subscriber clicked a specific link in email 1, you can tailor the content of email 2 to match that interest. If Elena clicked a link about sourdough tools in Jackson's first email, his second email could focus specifically on the best fermentation baskets. This level of personalization leads to potential outcomes where click-through rates are double the industry average. You are no longer sending a broadcast. You are having a conversation that adapts to the user's behavior. Email number 3, sent 48 hours after the initial sign-up, is the social proof and belonging phase. Humans are inherently social creatures. We look to the tribe to see if a path is safe. This is where you introduce a case study or a story of a transformation. Do not just say our customers love us. Instead, tell the story of David, a busy father of 3 who thought he would never have time to bake. But using Jackson's method, he now spends just 20 minutes on Sunday nights preparing bread for the whole week. You want your subscriber to see themselves in David's story. You are demonstrating that the transformation they desire is not only possible but has been achieved by people just like them. In this third email, you should also address the community aspect of your business. If you have a forum, a social media group, or even just a heavy reply-based culture, invite them in. You want to shift the subscriber's identity from someone who is looking for a solution to someone who is part of a group that has found the solution. Historical trends in subscription-based models show that sense of belonging is a greater predictor of long-term retention than the product price itself. Finally, 72 hours in, we reach email number 4. The problem and solution bridge. By now, the subscriber knows who you are, they have received value, and they have seen proof that your methods work. Now, you must clearly define the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and position your product or service as the only logical bridge. This is not a high-pressure sales pitch. It is an educational presentation of a solution. If you are Sarah, the tax consultant, this email explains the complexity of the ever-changing tax codes in 2026 and introduces her comprehensive filing audit as the way to ensure total compliance and maximum savings. You must include a clear, singular call to action. Do not ask them to follow you on Instagram, read a blog post, and check out your shop all in the same email. Focus on one goal. If the goal is a discovery call, the entire email should lead to that one link. Data from high-converting funnels suggests that emails with a single call to action can increase sales by over 300% compared to those with multiple competing links. By the end of these first 72 hours, you have done more for your brand than a year of social media posting could ever achieve. You have built a foundation of trust, demonstrated authority, and filtered out those who are not a fit for your business. But what happens after the honeymoon? How do you keep this momentum going for months or even years without the subscriber hitting that unsubscribe button? In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to look at the transition from the welcome sequence into the long-term nurture phase. We will discuss the specific types of content that keep your open rates high and your list healthy. We will also reveal a controversial strategy for cleaning your list that actually results in more revenue, not less. Most people are terrified to lose subscribers. We are going to show you why letting some people go is the key to massive growth. The secret to long-term profitability in email marketing is not just how you start the relationship, but how you maintain it when the initial excitement fades. Once you have moved past that critical 72-hour window, you enter the territory where most small businesses lose their way. They treat their email list like an emergency glass case that they only break in times of a sales slump. This sporadic behavior is the fastest way to destroy the trust you just built. In 2026, the battle for the inbox is won through the rhythm of your nurture sequence. We are going to implement a framework called the 3-pillar content system. This system ensures that your brand remains a welcomed guest rather than an intrusive solicitor. Imagine if you are Leo, a custom furniture maker in Chicago. Leo successfully moved his subscribers through a welcome sequence that highlighted his craftsmanship and the sustainability of his materials. But after that initial week, Leo didn't know what else to say. He stopped emailing for 3 months. Then, when a holiday weekend approached, he blasted his entire list with a 20% off coupon. The result was a wave of unsubscribes and a high number of spam reports. This happened because Leo's audience had effectively forgotten him. In their minds, he had moved from being a master craftsman to being just another marketer looking for their credit card. Historical trends show that this inconsistent communication leads to a rapid decline in sender reputation, making it harder for your future emails to even reach the inbox. To avoid Leo's mistake, we use the 3 pillars: value, story, and offer. The value pillar is where you teach your audience something they did not know. For Leo, this might be an email explaining how the humidity in a Chicago winter affects solid wood furniture and 3 specific steps to prevent cracking. This is pure education with no sales pitch. Positions Leo as an ongoing expert. The story pillar is where you build relatability. This is where Leo shares a behind-the-scenes look at a particularly challenging build or discusses the historical trends of mid-century modern design in 2026. This humanizes the brand. Finally, the offer pillar is the direct call to action. Because Leo has provided 3 pieces of value or story for every one offer, his audience is much more receptive when he finally asks for the sale. Step by step, you should map this out on a monthly calendar. For a small business, a frequency of 1 to 2 emails per week is often the sweet spot for maintaining engagement without causing fatigue. In 2026, the potential outcomes of a consistent weekly cadence include higher average open rates and a more predictable revenue stream. You are effectively training your subscribers to expect and enjoy your presence in their inbox. However, even with the best content, your list will naturally accumulate what we call dead weight. This brings us to the most controversial but essential part of the perfect email marketing plan: list hygiene. It is a psychological hurdle for many founders to delete subscribers they worked hard to acquire. But you must understand that in the current landscape of email deliverability, a large unengaged list is a liability, not an asset. Inbox providers like Gmail and Outlook are constantly monitoring how your audience interacts with your mail. If you send 10,000 emails and only 500 people open them, the provider assumes your content is low quality or unwanted. This can lead to your emails being automatically routed to the promotions or spam folders, even for the people who actually want to see them. Case studies of businesses that have aggressively pruned their lists, removing anyone who has not opened an email in 90 days, often show potential outcomes of a dramatic increase in overall engagement and revenue. Let us look at a specific scenario. Imagine you have a list of 5,000 people. 2,000 of them are highly engaged, while 3,000 have not opened an email in 6 months. By keeping those 3,000 inactive users, you are paying your email service provider a higher monthly fee, and you are actively damaging your sender score. If you delete those 3,000 people, your list size drops, but your open rate might jump from 15% to over 40% overnight. This tells the inbox providers that you are a high-quality sender, which ensures your messages land in the primary tab of your most valuable customers. Before you delete anyone, however, you must run a re-engagement sequence. This is a last-ditch effort to win back those who have drifted away. In 2026, these are often referred to as breakup emails. The first email in this short sequence should have a subject line that sparks curiosity or concern, such as "Are we breaking up or is this goodbye?" Inside, you should be honest. Tell the subscriber that you have noticed they haven't been opening your emails, and that you don't want to clutter their inbox if your content is no longer relevant to them. You should offer them one last piece of high-value content or a special incentive to stay. For example, Leo the furniture maker might offer a limited edition maintenance guide for his pieces. This email must include a very clear button that says "Keep me on the list." If they click it, they are moved back into the active segment. If they don't, you send one final email 48 hours later stating that you are removing them, but they are welcome to resubscribe anytime in the future. This process of constant pruning is what keeps your marketing engine lean and powerful. It ensures that every dollar you spend on your email service provider is being used to communicate with people who actually care about your brand. Historical trends indicate that as AI-driven spam filters become more sophisticated in the coming years, list hygiene will move from being a best practice to a strict requirement for business survival. Beyond hygiene, you must also look at the technical data of your long-term nurture. In 2026, we track a metric called the engagement velocity. This measures how quickly a subscriber moves from their first open to their first click, and how that behavior changes over time. If you notice a segment of your audience is losing velocity, it is a signal that your content pillar balance might be off. Perhaps you are leaning too heavily on offers and not enough on value. Or perhaps your stories are no longer resonating with current market sentiments. This level of detail allows you to be proactive rather than reactive. You are not just sending emails, you are managing a living ecosystem of human attention. You are building a machine that rewards loyalty and filters out noise. By mastering the transition from the welcome sequence into a disciplined nurture and hygiene routine, you are setting yourself apart from 99% of your competitors who are still just blasting and praying. But even with a clean list and great content, there is a way to make your emails feel even more personal, as if they were written specifically for the person reading them. This is where the true power of automation and advanced logic comes into play. Most small businesses treat their list as one giant bucket, but your customers are not all the same. They have different budgets, different interests, and different reasons for following you. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to dive into the world of behavioral segmentation. We will show you how to use simple tags to divide your audience into highly targeted groups, allowing you to send the right message to the right person at exactly the right time. We are going to move away from the broadcast model entirely and enter the era of hyper-personalization, where your email list becomes a collection of individual journeys rather than a mass announcement. The potential outcomes for your conversion rates are about to reach a whole new level. In 2026, the concept of a list blast is not just outdated, it is actively harmful to your business health. We have entered the era of the segment of one. To achieve the potential outcomes seen in top-tier marketing case studies, you must transition from a broadcast mindset to a behavioral mindset. This means your email platform should act as a silent observer, recording every interaction and adjusting the subscriber journey in real time. Imagine a small business owner named Amanda who runs a pet supply company based in Austin, Texas. Historically, Amanda would send the same weekly email about a sale on dog leashes to her entire list of 5,000 people. The problem? 1,500 of those people only own cats. To them, Amanda is not being helpful, she is being irrelevant. By 2026 standards, those cat owners will quickly hit the unsubscribe button or worse, report the email as spam because it does not align with their reality. The solution starts with behavioral tagging. This is the process of attaching digital labels to your subscribers based on the actions they take. Every time a subscriber clicks a link, visits a specific page on your website, or opens a particular type of content, your system should automatically apply a tag. For Amanda, if a subscriber clicks a link titled The Ultimate Guide to Indoor Cat Nutrition, the system immediately applies the tag cat lover. This is the first step in moving away from a single massive bucket of names and into a series of highly specialized flows. Let us look at a case study of a specialized e-commerce brand. By implementing a tagging system, they were able to identify 3 distinct personas within their audience. Instead of sending one generic newsletter, they created 3 versions of the same email. The core message remained the same, but the images, the product recommendations, and the subject lines were dynamically swapped based on the subscribers' tags. Historical trends in 2026 indicate that this level of dynamic content can result in click-through rates that are 3 to 5 times higher than static, non-personalized emails. You are no longer guessing what your audience wants. You are responding to what they have already told you through their behavior. To implement this, you need to create a tagging map. This is a step-by-step blueprint of the triggers and labels you will use. For example, your map might include a trigger where if a subscriber spends more than 60 seconds on your services page, but does not book a consultation, they receive a high-intent tag. This tag then triggers a specific nurture sequence designed to answer common objections about your service. If you are a consultant like Robert in Charlotte, North Carolina, who helps small businesses with their accounting, you could use this to send a case study specifically about how your audit saved a similar-sized company 15% on their operational costs. This is not a random reach-out. It is a calculated response to a specific digital behavior. Another powerful tool in your 2026 arsenal is zero-party data. While first-party data is gathered through observation, zero-party data is information that your subscribers intentionally and proactively share with you. The most effective way to collect this is through a preference center or a self-segmentation survey. Imagine if, in your welcome sequence, you simply asked, "Which of these best describes your current goal?" and gave 3 options. When the subscriber clicks an option, they are self-tagging. They are telling you exactly which marketing funnel they belong in. This removes the guesswork and creates an immediate sense of being understood. A case study of a digital coaching business showed that using a single question survey in the first 24 hours of a subscriber's journey led to a 40% increase in long-term engagement. We must also discuss lead scoring, a technique that was once the exclusive domain of large enterprise corporations, but is now accessible to every small business. Lead scoring involves assigning a numerical value to every action a subscriber takes. Opening an email might be worth 1 point. Clicking a link might be worth 5 points. Visiting your pricing page might be worth 20 points. In 2026, your email service provider can aggregate these points to give you a hot lead report. Imagine if every Monday morning, you received a list of the top 10 people who have been most active with your brand over the last week. These are the individuals who are most likely to convert. Instead of waiting for them to find your buy button, you can trigger a high-touch automation or even a personal outreach. Historical trends show that focusing your energy on these high-score leads is far more efficient than trying to move your entire list at once. You are using data to prioritize your most valuable resource, your time. Beyond simple tags and scores, we must look at contextual relevance. This involves using data points like the subscriber's local weather, their geographic location, or even the time of day they typically open their emails. If you are Chloe, a business owner in San Diego who sells both surfing gear and yoga accessories, your system should know that if it is raining in a subscriber city, an email about indoor yoga practice will likely perform better than an email about hitting the beach. This is not about being intrusive, it is about being useful. In a world of infinite noise, the business that provides the most relevant signal wins the customer's attention. The technical execution of this requires setting up conditional logic within your automations. This is the if this then that framework. For example, if the subscriber has the tag past customer And if they have not made a purchase in 60 days, then send the win-back sequence. Else, keep them in the standard nurture flow. This logic ensures that your subscribers never feel like they are just a number in a database. They feel like they are in a relationship with a brand that actually remembers their history and respects their preferences. As you build out these individual journeys, you will notice a shift in your business metrics. Your open rates will stabilize because you are sending fewer, but more relevant messages. Your conversion rates will climb because your offers are perfectly timed to the user's behavior. Most importantly, your list hygiene will improve naturally because you are no longer annoying your subscribers with irrelevant content. You are building a sophisticated automated ecosystem that mirrors a one-on-one sales experience at scale. But having the most advanced segmentation in the world will not matter if your words fail to move the needle. You can get the right email to the right person at the perfect time, but if the subject line is boring and the copy is dry, they will never see the value you have to offer. The psychology of the click is just as important as the logic of the automation. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to dive deep into the art and science of high-conversion copywriting. We will break down the exact formulas for subject lines that demand to be opened and the storytelling structures that lead to a click every single time. We will reveal the secret of the open loop in your body copy and how to write in a way that makes your subscribers feel like you are reading their minds. We are moving from the brain of your email system to the heart of your message, and this is where the true transformation of your brand voice begins. To master the art of the inbox in 2026, you must first accept a hard truth. Your subscribers do not care about your business. They care about their own transformation. If your emails read like a corporate press release, they will be deleted before the first sentence is even processed. High-conversion copywriting is not about being fancy or using complex vocabulary. It is about empathy at scale. We are moving away from the broadcast style of the early 2020s and into an era of hyper-personal one-to-one dialogue. This is the heart of the message, where your brand stops being a logo and starts being a trusted companion. Imagine a small business owner named Maya who runs a specialized skincare line in Seattle. Historically, Maya sent emails that looked like digital flyers. They were filled with professional photography, multiple discount buttons, and third-person language like "our team is proud to announce." Her open rates were stable at 20%, but her click-through rates were less than 1%. In 2026, Maya shifted her strategy to what we call the letter format. She stripped away the heavy HTML templates, removed the corporate jargon, and started writing her emails as if she were sending a quick update to a close friend. Within 3 months, her click-through rates tripled. This is the power of the human-centric approach. The first hurdle in this process is the subject line. Think of your subject line as the packaging of a gift. If the box looks like junk mail, no one will ever see the treasure inside. In the current landscape, the most effective subject lines utilize the information gap theory. This is a psychological principle where you present a piece of information that is incomplete, creating a mental itch that the reader can only scratch by opening the email. For example, instead of a subject line like "Spring Sale Now Active," a high-performance alternative would be the one ingredient we had to remove. The first is a demand for attention. The second is an invitation to solve a mystery. Historical trends show that short, lowercase subject lines are currently outperforming traditional title case formats. Why? Because that is how humans actually email each other. If your friend David in Chicago sends you an email, the subject line probably says "quick question" or "check this out." It does not say "urgent, exclusive opportunity" inside. When you mimic the formatting of a personal correspondence, you bypass the psychological filters that consumers have built to ignore marketing. Case studies from 2025 and early 2026 suggest that subject lines under 4 words can see a potential outcome of a 15% higher open rate compared to longer, more descriptive titles. Directly following the subject line is the preview text. This is the wingman to your subject line, yet it is the most underutilized piece of real estate in email marketing. Most small businesses leave this to default, which often displays the first few words of the email like "Hi, can't see this email? View in browser." This is a wasted opportunity. Your preview text should provide the second half of the open loop. If your subject line is the $400 mistake, your preview text should be "It all started with a single line of code in 2024. Now the subscriber has a character, a high-stakes number, and a timeline. They are almost compelled to click. Once the email is opened, you must honor the click immediately. Do not start with a long introduction about your company history. Use the bridge storytelling framework. This framework consists of 3 parts: the hook, the conflict, and the resolution. The hook is a single, punchy sentence that anchors the reader in a specific moment. For Maya in Seattle, it might be, "I was staring at the lab results and felt my heart sink." This creates an immediate emotional connection. The conflict is where you describe the struggle your subscriber is currently facing. You are reflecting their reality back to them. If you are a consultant helping small businesses with their digital security, you might describe the feeling of powerlessness when a system goes offline. You are not selling a product yet. You are validating their pain. This builds what psychologists call cognitive ease. The reader feels understood, which lowers their defensive barriers. The resolution is where your product or service enters the story. But notice the order. The story comes first, the solution follows. You are positioning your offer as the tool that resolves the conflict you just described. Step by step, you are leading the subscriber's mind from a state of problem awareness to a state of solution readiness. Data from recent marketing experiments suggests that emails structured as stories have a potential outcome of 45% higher engagement than purely promotional emails. Next, we must address the open-loop technique within the body copy. To keep a reader moving from the first sentence to the last, you must constantly hint at what is coming next. Use phrases like, "But then something changed," or "I'll get to the data in a moment, but first you need to understand this." This prevents the reader from skimming. In 2026, where scrolling is the default behavior, your job as a writer is to create friction against that scroll, forcing the mind to slow down and process the narrative. We also need to discuss the call to action, or CTA. A common mistake is using a generic button that says "Shop Now." In a high-conversion email, your CTA should be a natural extension of the story. If your email was about the struggle of finding the right morning routine, your CTA should be "Start your better morning here." It is benefit-driven, not task-driven. Furthermore, you must stick to the power of one. One story, one goal, one link. When you give people too many choices, they choose nothing. This is the paradox of choice. By providing a singular, clear path forward, you reduce the mental effort required for the subscriber to take the next step. Finally, do not overlook the PS section. Historically, the PS is one of the most read parts of any email. Many people skim the body and jump straight to the bottom. Use the PS to summarize your offer, add a secondary piece of social proof, or create a soft sense of urgency. For example, PS. We only have 12 units left of the batch Maya mentioned above. You can see the remaining stock at this link. It is a low-pressure way to remind the reader of the value proposition. As you refine your brand voice, remember that in 2026, authenticity is the highest currency. People are exhausted by AI-generated sounding fluff. They want to hear from a real person with real opinions. Do not be afraid to be polarizing. If you try to speak to everyone, you will end up resonating with no one. By taking a stand and sharing your unique perspective, you turn your email list into a community of advocates. You now have the technical setup, the automated sequences, the segmentation logic, and the copywriting formulas. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that separates a good email marketing plan from a world-class one. Even the best copy in the world will eventually plateau if you are not constantly experimenting. The digital landscape of 2026 is moving faster than ever, and what works today might be obsolete in 6 months. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to dive into the world of advanced split testing and analytics. We will show you how to run scientific experiments on your list to find the exact variables that drive your revenue. We are going to look at the data points that your competitors are ignoring and how to use them to make informed, high-stakes decisions. The difference between a 15% open rate and a 30% open rate isn't luck. It is the result of a rigorous testing framework that we are about to unveil. In the digital landscape of 2026, data is the only objective truth. Most small business owners operate on intuition or what they feel is working. But in a high-stakes market, feelings are a liability. We are going to move into the laboratory of your email marketing strategy where every word, every image, and every timestamp is a variable waiting to be optimized. This is the world of rigorous split testing and granular analytics. Historical trends indicate that businesses that adopt a data-first approach see potential outcomes that far outpace their competitors who rely on guesswork. We are not just looking for a one-time win. We are building a compounding engine of incremental gains. Imagine if you are a business owner named Ethan who runs a premium specialty coffee roastery in Portland, Oregon. Ethan has a list of 8,000 subscribers. For years, he followed the common advice of sending his weekly brew tips every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. He believed his audience loved his witty, pun-filled subject lines because he occasionally got a nice reply. However, when we looked at his back-end data in early 2026, we found that while his open rates looked decent on paper, his actual sales from those emails were stagnating. Ethan was a victim of the vanity metric trap. He was optimizing for the open, not for the outcome. To fix this, Ethan had to implement a scientific testing framework. The first step in this process is identifying your primary variable. You should never test more than one element at a time, or you will never know which change caused the shift in performance. We started with the sender name. Historically, many brands use their company name as the sender. Ethan tested the roastery versus Ethan from the roastery versus just Ethan. In a world where people are increasingly wary of corporate noise, the results were telling. The personal name Ethan outperformed the company name by 22% in open rates. This is because, in 2026, the inbox is a personal space, and subscribers are more likely to engage with a human than a faceless entity. Next, we tackled the subject lines using the 80-20 testing rule. Ethan's email service provider allowed him to send 2 variations of a subject line to 10% of his list each. Version A was his traditional pun. A latte reasons to love our new roast. Version B was a direct, benefit-driven statement. How to brew a smoother cup in 3 minutes. After 4 hours, the system automatically identified version B as the winner based on click-through rates. The remaining 80% of the list received the winning version. Over 6 months, this single practice of testing every broadcast increased Ethan's average revenue per email by 18%. However, the most significant shift in 2026 analytics is moving beyond the open rate. With the continued evolution of privacy features like Apple's mail privacy protection, open rates are often artificially inflated by background preloading. To find the true health of your campaign, you must look at the click-to-open rate, or CTOR. This metric measures the percentage of people who clicked a link out of the total number of people who opened the email. It is the ultimate measure of content relevance. If your open rate is high but your CTOR is low, it means your subject line was a check your brand could not cash. You grabbed their attention but failed to deliver value. Step by step, you should be auditing your CTOR for every segment. If you see a downward trend in a specific segment, it is an early warning sign of audience fatigue. For a small business like a boutique fitness studio in Austin run by a founder named Chloe, tracking CTOR allowed her to realize that her long-form educational pieces about muscle recovery were performing 3 times better than her short, punchy announcements about class schedules. Even though the class announcements had higher opens, the recovery tips had higher engagement. Chloe realized her audience saw her as a source of expertise, not just a service provider. She adjusted her content pillar balance accordingly and saw a subsequent rise in membership retention. We also have to discuss the importance of conversion tracking. In 2026, your email platform must be integrated with your commerce platform. You need to know exactly which email, which link, and which specific subscriber resulted in a transaction. This allows you to calculate the earnings per click, or EPC. Imagine if you are running 2 different types of campaigns: a weekly newsletter and a monthly deep dive case study. The newsletter might get more clicks, but the case study might have a much higher EPC because the people clicking are more qualified and ready to buy. Without this data, you might mistakenly put more effort into the high-traffic, low-revenue newsletter. Another advanced variable to test is the email format itself. There is a historical trend moving away from heavy image-laden HTML templates toward plain text or minimalist designs. In 2026, a highly designed email often screams advertisement to the subconscious mind. We ran a case study with a professional services firm in Atlanta where they tested a beautifully designed monthly report against a simple, text-based letter from the CEO. The text-based version saw a potential outcome of double the reply rate and a 30% increase in scheduled consultations. The lesson here is that sometimes the best way to stand out in a crowded inbox is to not look like marketing at all. Then there is the factor of time. While many platforms offer global send time optimization, you should test this against your own manual benchmarks. Does your specific audience of busy professionals in New York engage better at 6 a.m. on their commute, or at 8 p.m. when they have finally settled down? In 2026, we also look at the day of the week effect. Traditionally, weekends were avoided by B2B companies. However, recent data suggests that Sunday evenings have become a high engagement window as people prepare for the week ahead. By testing a Sunday 7 p.m. slot, a small software consultancy was able to increase their demo bookings by 15% compared to their previous Tuesday morning slot. The final piece of the analytics puzzle is statistical significance. You cannot make high-stakes decisions based on a sample size of 50 people. You need to ensure that the difference in performance between your test A and test B is not just due to random chance. Most modern email tools will provide a confidence score. You should aim for a 95% confidence level before declaring a winner and changing your long-term strategy. This rigor prevents you from chasing ghosts in the data and ensures that your optimizations are grounded in reality. By mastering this laboratory phase, you are no longer a passive participant in your marketing. You are the architect of a high-performance system. You are turning every email sent into a data point that makes the next email even more effective. This is how a small business with a modest list outmaneuvers a giant corporation with a massive budget but no agility. You are refining your voice, your timing, and your value proposition with surgical precision. But what do you do once you have found the perfect formula? How do you scale these results without spending 40 hours a week trapped in your email dashboard? The secret lies in taking these proven winners and locking them into a sophisticated, automated ecosystem that runs without your manual intervention. We have spent the first 7 parts of this masterclass building the components. Now it is time to build the machine itself. In the next part of this series, we are going to dive into advanced automation and the evergreen sales machine. We will show you how to take the data-backed insights we just uncovered and turn them into complex, multi-branch funnels that respond to every move your customer makes. We are going to look at the psychology of the abandoned cart sequence, the post-purchase upsell, and the automated referral engine. We are moving from manual labor to digital leverage, where your email list becomes a 24/7 sales team that never gets tired and never misses a lead. The era of the automated small business is here, and we are about to give you the blueprint. The transition from manual campaign management to a fully automated evergreen sales machine is the moment your small business graduates into a scalable enterprise. In 2026, automation is no longer about sending robotic, cold messages. It is about building a responsive digital nervous system that reacts to customer behavior with surgical precision. While you are sleeping, your system should be identifying lost opportunities, nurturing new leads, and maximizing the value of every single transaction. This is not about a quick fix. It is about building a sustainable infrastructure that historically produces consistent growth by removing the bottleneck of human labor. Imagine a small business owner named Liam who operates a high-performance athletic apparel brand out of Columbus, Ohio. In 2024, Liam was trapped in the manual loop, trying to remember to send out sales emails every Friday. By 2026, Liam has implemented a series of automated triggers that act as a silent sales force. When a potential customer named Sarah visits Liam's site, looks at a pair of carbon fiber running shoes, and adds them to her cart but then gets distracted by a phone call, the evergreen machine kicks into gear. This is the abandoned cart sequence, and it is the highest ROI automation in the email marketing playbook. Historical trends in e-commerce suggest that approximately 70% of online shopping carts are abandoned. For a small business, this represents a massive amount of unrealized revenue. Liam's system does not just send one generic comeback email. He has architected a 3-part recovery sequence. The first email triggers exactly 45 minutes after Sarah leaves the site. The subject line is simple and helpful. Did something go wrong? The body of the email doesn't pressure her to buy. Instead, it asks if she had a technical issue and provides a direct link back to her specific cart. Case studies of mid-market retailers in 2025 showed that this helpful nudge alone can recover up to 10% of abandoned transactions. If Sarah does not complete the purchase, the second email triggers 24 hours later. This is the objection handling phase. Liam knows that the primary reasons people hesitate are price, shipping times, or uncertainty about fit. This email features a high-impact testimonial from another runner who had the same concerns but found the shoes transformed their marathon training. It also highlights Liam's hassle-free return policy. You are systematically removing the friction points that stopped the sale in the first place. The third and final email in this sequence triggers at the 48-hour mark. This is where Liam introduces a limited-time incentive, such as a small discount or free expedited shipping, creating a sense of urgency. Potential outcomes from a well-structured 3-part abandoned cart sequence often include a 20 to 25% recovery rate, turning lost traffic into loyal customers without Liam ever lifting a finger. But the machine does not stop once the credit card is swiped. In fact, for a savvy small business in 2026, the post-purchase sequence is where the real profit is made. Most businesses send a receipt and stop there. Liam's evergreen machine sees the purchase as the beginning of a higher-level relationship. The moment Sarah buys those shoes, she is moved out of the prospect segment and into the customer segment. She immediately receives a thank you email that doesn't just confirm the order, but celebrates her decision. It includes a video of Liam explaining the brand's mission and what she can expect in the coming days. 3 days later, before the shoes even arrive, Sarah receives an email with a guide on how to break in her new gear and a curated playlist for her first run. This is value-added content that builds brand affinity. Then, 10 days after the delivery confirmation, the system triggers a cross-sell automation. Based on Sarah's purchase of running shoes, the system recommends a specific moisture-wicking compression sock that complements her new footwear. This is the logic of the next logical step. You are not just selling, you are consulting. By using behavioral data to suggest related products, small businesses have historically seen a 15 to 30% increase in customer lifetime value. Now, let us look at another scenario involving a service-based business. Imagine Olivia, who runs a boutique interior design firm in Miami, Florida. Olivia uses an automated referral and review engine to fuel her growth. After she completes a project, her system waits exactly 14 days, the honeymoon period where the client is most excited about their new space, and triggers a request for a review. But it is not a blind ask. The email first asks a simple question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are they to recommend her to a friend? This is the Net Promoter Score, or NPS. If the client selects a 9 or 10, the system automatically follows up with a link to her Google business profile and a request for a testimonial. If the client selects a 6 or below, the system alerts Olivia internally, so she can personally reach out and rectify any issues before a negative review is ever posted. This is how you use automation to protect your reputation while scaling your social proof. For those high-scoring clients, the system then triggers a referral offer 30 days later, providing them with a unique incentive to introduce Olivia to their network. Case studies in the service sector indicate that automated referral programs can increase word-of-mouth leads by over 40%. To build this evergreen sales machine in 2026, you must utilize advanced conditional logic. Your email service provider should allow for if-then-else branching. For example, if a subscriber has clicked on 3 different blog posts about kitchen remodeling, but hasn't booked a consultation, your system should automatically tag them as high intent and trigger a specific educational series about kitchen design trends. You are creating a customized experience for every individual, based on their unique digital footprint. The technical backbone of this system relies on webhooks and API integrations between your website, your payment processor, and your email platform. This ensures that data flows in real time. If someone buys a product at 2 a.m., they should be moved into the post-purchase flow at 2:01 a.m. Any lag in this process breaks the psychological momentum of the customer journey. In the current year, the most successful small businesses are those that treat their automation workflows as living assets, constantly reviewing the data to find where people are dropping off and adjusting the logic to plug the leaks. We have now architected a system that captures leads, handles objections, recovers lost sales, increases order value, and generates referrals on autopilot. You have moved from being a manual operator to being a systems architect. You have built a machine that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of whether you are in the office or on vacation. This is the pinnacle of digital leverage. However, as powerful as these automations are, they are only as good as the fuel you feed them. In 2026, the world of digital marketing is undergoing a seismic shift. Artificial intelligence is no longer a buzzword. It is the engine behind the next generation of hyper-personalized communication. The way we write, segment, and predict customer behavior is changing at a fundamental level. If you continue to use the same tactics as everyone else, your automated machine will eventually hit a ceiling. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to explore the cutting edge of email marketing and the AI revolution. We will show you how to use generative models to create thousands of personalized variations of your copy in seconds. We will discuss predictive analytics that can tell you when a customer is about to churn before they even know it themselves. We are going to reveal how to stay human in an AI-driven world and how to use these tools to gain a massive competitive advantage over businesses that are still doing things the old way. The future of your email marketing plan is about to get a whole lot smarter. In 2026, the intersection of artificial intelligence and email marketing has created a divide between the businesses that are merely surviving and those that are dominating their niches. We are no longer talking about simple mail merge tags that insert a first name into a subject line. We are entering the era of generative intelligence and predictive modeling, where your email service provider functions less like a software tool and more like a highly trained data scientist working exclusively for your small business. Historically, the level of personalization we are about to discuss was the exclusive playground of companies with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets. Today, the democratization of AI means that a boutique owner in Charleston or a freelance consultant in Seattle can outmaneuver industry giants by using data as their primary lever for growth. Imagine a small business owner named Daniel who runs a high-end tech accessories brand. In early 2026, Daniel moved away from the traditional one-size-fits-all approach and implemented a generative personalization layer. Instead of writing one email for his 10,000 subscribers, Daniel now uses an AI engine that analyzes the historical purchase data and browsing behavior of every individual on his list. When he launches a new leather laptop sleeve, the AI generates thousands of variations of the email body copy. For a subscriber who historically buys minimalist black accessories, the email highlights the sleek aesthetic and monochrome palette. For a subscriber who frequently reads blog posts about sustainability, the AI automatically rewrites the copy to focus on the ethically sourced materials and the durability of the product. This is not just about changing words. It is about changing the entire narrative to fit the psychological profile of the recipient. Case studies of businesses using this generative approach have shown potential outcomes where click-through rates increase by over 50% because the message feels like a personal recommendation rather than a mass advertisement. In 2026, the primary goal of AI in your email plan is to reduce the cognitive load on your customer. By presenting them with exactly what they need in the language they prefer to hear it, you are removing the friction that leads to the delete button. Beyond generative copy, we must look at the power of predictive analytics, the crystal ball of your marketing strategy. Imagine if you could identify which customers were likely to stop buying from you before they even realized it themselves. This is known as churn prediction. Let us look at a case study of a subscription-based gourmet coffee service run by a founder named Sophia. Historically, Sophia would wait until a customer canceled their subscription to try and win them back. By then it was usually too late. In 2026, Sophia's AI-driven system monitors micro-behaviors. It notices when a customer who usually opens every email at 8 a.m. on Mondays suddenly stops opening them for 3 weeks. It notices when their browsing frequency on the website drops below their historical average. The system flags this customer as at risk. Before the customer even considers canceling, the evergreen machine triggers a high-value re-engagement sequence. This isn't a generic "we miss you" email. It might be a video of the specific farmer who grew their favorite blend, or a curated list of new brewing methods based on their past equipment purchases. Historical trends indicate that proactive intervention based on predictive data can reduce customer churn by up to 30%. We also need to address AI-driven send time optimization, or STO. In the previous parts of this masterclass, we discussed testing for the best time to send. In 2026, STO has moved beyond the segment level to the individual level. Your system knows that Mark in New York is most likely to click a link while he is on the subway at 7:45 a.m., while Jennifer in Los Angeles is a night owl who does her online shopping at 11:30 p.m. Instead of sending your broadcast at a single time, the AI staggers the delivery over a 24-hour window, ensuring that your email lands at the very top of each individual's inbox at the exact moment they are most likely to engage. Case studies show that this individual-level optimization can lead to a potential outcome of a 20% lift in open rates across the board. The technical implementation of these tools often happens through the integration of large language models directly into your email service provider. You can now prompt your system to find the top 3 common objections in your customer support replies and automatically draft a 3-part educational sequence to address them. This closes the loop between customer feedback and marketing execution at lightning speed. Step by step, you are moving from being a content creator to being a content director. You provide the vision, the brand voice, and the high-level strategy, while the AI handles the heavy lifting of execution and optimization. However, as we lean into the AI revolution, we must maintain a strict guardrail, the human-in-the-loop requirement. In 2026, as the volume of AI-generated content increases, consumers are developing a sixth sense for sterile robotic communication. To succeed, you must use a hybrid model. Use AI to handle the data-heavy tasks of segmentation, timing, and initial drafting, but ensure that every message is infused with your unique brand soul. This means adding personal anecdotes, sharing raw behind-the-scenes moments, and occasionally sending a completely unoptimized, human-to-human email that breaks all the rules. This contrast makes your brand feel more real in a sea of perfect, AI-generated noise. We must also consider the role of AI in list hygiene and deliverability. Modern AI filters are now being used by inbox providers to detect not just spam, but low-value gray mail. If your emails are consistently ignored, AI will eventually hide them from your subscribers. Conversely, you can use AI to audit your own list. Advanced algorithms can now identify fake accounts, bot signups, and temporary email addresses with 99% accuracy, ensuring your sender reputation remains pristine. This level of technical cleanliness is what allows small businesses to maintain high deliverability, even as global email volumes continue to rise. Imagine if your email marketing wasn't just a chore you did every week, but a self-evolving organism that learned more about your customers with every single click. You are building a system that doesn't just work for you, it learns for you. This is the competitive advantage of 2026. While your competitors are still manually typing out newsletters and hoping for the best, you are running a data-driven operation that predicts needs, resolves issues before they happen, and speaks to every customer as if they were your only one. We have now covered the strategy, the technical setup, the welcome sequences, the long-term nurture, the copywriting, the analytics, the automation, and the AI intelligence. You have the entire blueprint for a world-class email marketing plan. But a plan is only as good as its implementation. In the final part of this masterclass, we are going to bring everything together. We will discuss the final checklist you need before you hit the gas on your new system. We will talk about scaling your list from the first 100 subscribers to the first 100,000, and how to maintain the quality of your relationship as you grow. We are entering the home stretch, where the perfect email marketing plan moves from the screen into the real world of your business, turning potential outcomes into your new daily reality. The final piece of the puzzle is about to fall into place. Implementation is where theory meets reality, and for a small business owner like James in Austin, Texas, this is the most high-stakes phase of the entire journey. James runs a sustainable outdoor gear company, and after 9 parts of this masterclass, he has built a sophisticated email architecture. He has his SPF and DKIM records verified, his welcome sequence is automated, and his segmentation tags are firing correctly. But James now faces the ultimate challenge of 2026, scaling his list from 500 local customers to 50,000 national advocates without losing the personal touch that made his brand successful in the first place. This final stage is about fuel and maintenance. If your email system is the engine, your lead generation strategy is the fuel, and your deployment checklist is the maintenance schedule that prevents a catastrophic breakdown. To scale effectively in 2026, you must understand that the cost of attention has reached historical highs. Relying solely on paid advertisements to grow your list is a strategy that often leads to diminishing returns. Instead, we look at the potential outcomes of a diversified acquisition strategy. James implemented a 3-tiered approach: high-intent organic content, micro-collaborations, and the viral loop mechanism. Step by step, James began by transforming his blog from a repository of product updates into an educational hub. In 2026, search engines prioritize deep, authoritative content that solves specific user problems. By creating a comprehensive guide titled The Definitive 2026 Checklist for Low-Impact Camping, James captured high-intent traffic from individuals who were already looking for his solution. At the end of that guide, he didn't just ask for an email. He offered an interactive packing list tool that required a sign-up. This organic funnel consistently converted at 12%, providing a steady stream of warm leads. The second tier of scaling is the micro-collaboration. Historical trends show that the massive influencer era has shifted toward smaller, hyper-engaged communities. James partnered with 10 niche outdoor creators who had smaller but more loyal followings. Instead of a standard shout-out, they performed a newsletter swap. James provided a high-value tip for the creator's audience, and the creator did the same for his. This cross-pollination of audiences is the most cost-effective way to acquire subscribers who are already primed to trust your brand. Case studies from early 2026 indicate that newsletter swaps often result in a higher lifetime value per subscriber compared to cold traffic from social media ads, because the trust is transferred from a known entity. Finally, James utilized the viral loop, also known as the referral engine. He integrated a simple system where current subscribers could earn points toward exclusive gear by inviting friends to the list. However, in 2026, the key to success with referral programs is not just the reward but the ease of sharing. James used a one-click referral link within every email footer. Potential outcomes for businesses using integrated referral loops include a 15 to 20% boost in monthly list growth without any additional ad spend. As your list scales, you must conduct a final deployment checklist before every major campaign or automation launch. This is your insurance policy against technical errors that can destroy your sender reputation. The 2026 Master Checklist begins with the technical audit. First, re-verify your DNS settings to ensure your DMARC policy is correctly set to quarantine or reject. Second, run your email through a deliverability tester to check for any common spam triggers in your copy or metadata. Next is the creative audit. You must test your email across multiple devices and operating systems. In 2026, over 80% of your subscribers will likely view your email on a mobile device, and a significant portion will be using dark mode. If your images have white backgrounds that clash with a dark interface, or if your font size is too small for a 5-inch screen, your engagement will plummet. Ensure every image has descriptive alt text. This is crucial for accessibility, and for those users who have image loading turned off by default. The third part of the checklist is the logical audit. Every link must be clicked. Every button must be tested. If you are using dynamic content blocks based on tags, you must preview the email as if you were each different segment. Imagine the frustration of a cat owner receiving an email about a dog food sale because a tag was applied incorrectly. This level of detail is what separates professional operations from amateur attempts. Finally, verify your unsubscribe link. It might seem counterintuitive, but making it easy to leave is a requirement for high deliverability in 2026. A hidden or difficult unsubscribe link leads to spam reports, which are the quickest way to get blacklisted by major inbox providers. Beyond the checklist, we must address the philosophy of the inbox as your list reaches significant scale. You are now the guardian of a massive amount of human attention. In 2026, the average consumer uses an AI assistant to summarize their emails. This means you are writing for two audiences, the human and the algorithm. To remain visible, your content must be high signal. If your emails are consistently summarized as just another promotion, the AI will eventually stop showing them to the user. You maintain your position in the primary inbox by consistently providing insights, stories, and value that cannot be distilled into a simple bullet point. James found that by maintaining a 90-10 ratio, 90% value and 10% direct sales, he kept his engagement velocity high even as he crossed the 50,000 subscriber mark. He treated his list as a community, occasionally sending out surveys that allowed his subscribers to vote on the next product design. This zero-party data not only improved his product market fit, but also made his subscribers feel like stakeholders in his success. As we conclude this 10-part masterclass, look back at the infrastructure you have built. You have moved from a state of platform dependency to a state of digital sovereignty. You own your data, you control your distribution, and you have a direct automated line to your customers. The potential outcomes for a small business that masters this plan are not just about increased revenue. They are about resilience. In an era where algorithms are unpredictable and the digital landscape is in constant flux, your email list is the bedrock of your business. You have the tools, the templates, and the data-driven strategies. You have seen how names like James, Sarah, and Leo have transformed their operations by moving from manual labor to automated leverage. Now the execution is in your hands. Start with the technical setup, launch your welcome sequence, and begin the process of consistent value-driven nurture. But our exploration of the 2026 digital landscape does not end here. While email is the core of your conversion, the way you drive traffic into this system is evolving. The next frontier is the integration of short-form video as a lead generation engine that feeds directly into your automated sequences. In our next deep dive series, we are going to break down the viral content framework that turns views into subscribers and subscribers into a movement. We will reveal the exact video structures that are currently dominating the US market and how to bridge the gap between social media attention and email list retention. The journey toward a fully optimized, high-growth business continues, and the next step is about to change everything you know about social media marketing.